Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and all our very, very, very special guests here tonight. It is an important evening for us, and a special evening, because this year NDTV turns 21. Apart from just our Indian of the Year awards, we are also celebrating 21, NDTV actually coming of age. And I'd like to thank many of you here, and I can see so many that have been so important to us, helping us in this long and winding road that we've taken over these years. And you've been pivotal to us at key moments in our lives. And thank you very, very much, each one of you, for playing such an important role in NDTV's existence. But in these 21 years, so much has happened. If you just think back, where were you 21 years ago? You didn't have internet, you didn't have Google, you didn't have Facebook, you didn't have cell phones. Elections used to take 3 days to count. Actually, our sponsors still want that to happen. Now it takes 3 hours. It's not enough. We only had Doordarshan. Now you have 400 channels. What a different India it is now compared to just 21 years ago. What will India be like 21 years from now? It's mind-boggling. It was, in fact, 21 years ago that Radhika Roy started NDTV, and then I joined her. And there are still many, many people, almost 60 people who have been with us all this time, over 15 years. Many of them you know are key foundation people like Barkha and Sonia. Both been more than 15 years with us, and we just couldn't do without them. There's Vikram, there's Vasu, there's Shutupa, there's Monideepa, there's Sanjay and Manika, there's T.S. Sudhir, Rubina. These are names you probably know. But you know, there are many, many people behind the scenes. For every anchor that goes on air, there are about 50 people making sure he or she is not a flop. And boy, do I respect those 50. We'd be nowhere without them. And of course, I must mention, we're so lucky to have Vinod Dua with us, because it all started with Vinod Dua many, many years ago, and it's great to have him. He is, I still believe, India's finest anchor by far. And also, it's a very special year for one other gentleman who I started working with 30 years ago, Dorab Supariwala, when we started doing this crazy game of election forecasting. It has been a long and winding road. If you remember, we started with The World This Week, and how lucky we were. There was the Berlin Wall collapsed, Tiananmen Square, the Soviet Union was fragmented. What a time to be able to report history. So much happened when we started The World This Week. And then in India, when we started the first private news on Doordarshan, you really needed a bold man to say, go ahead and try. Let's see if you can do private news. That was almost 15 years ago. But he said one thing. That was Mr. Basu. He said, I'm not going to give you any money. You've got to go get your money yourself. And I salute to 5 great industrialists who took a blind risk, and they said, okay, we'll finance you for 2 years. They didn't know how it would turn out, but they financed it. It did work out well for them in the end, but I respect the risk and the foresight in getting private news. So if you're going to blame anybody, blame those 5 industrialists. Without conditions, they financed NDTV private news for 2 years.
Tuba.com